Hi, welcome to the presentation on retail service marketing opportunities and challenges. Today, the environment is quite dynamic and the service sector, there are lots of opportunities are all coming up there. In addition to the mercantile business, you will be seeing a lot of service business are coming out in a very unique model, leveraging the technology beautifully. But still, the retail service marketing is a quite challenging because of its uniqueness. It is quite complex basically because both the service retailer as well as the consumer are actively involved in the retail transaction process. And the success or failure of the service delivery purely depends upon the interaction between both of them, each having their own state of mind, their perception about each other, and their attitude. For example, the consumer will be always thinking whether the service delivery man will be able to deliver his requirement. And the service delivery person will always think why this consumer is coming such a complex issue, will he be able to solve it or not? Like that, each one will have their own perception about the other person, whether it will be a successful or a failed transaction. And again, each consumer will come with a specific requirement, and that will make the whole process very challenging. Even though many organizations are trying to standardize the whole process, still there will be some variations will be there in the customer service requirement, and that will make them quite difficult for the service delivery person to handle that issue. The ability of the service retailer to resolve the unique requirement of the consumer with his training, with his skill set and knowledge is definitely an issue. And no two service deliveries are same, as the service retailer are different, the consumer requirements are different, and the interaction taking place between both of them are different. Because of the so many variations, no two service deliveries will be same, will be successful, it will have its own outcomes. Now let us see the broad scenario in India. Actually, they are growing part of the retail industry in India. The way the product merchandise retailing is going up, service retailing also moving up phenomenally. In fact, many entrepreneurs in their own innovative manner, they're trying to evolve with a very interesting formats and all that. In fact, the demand for the different age groups are all different as far as the service requirements are concerned. For example, the aged people may be looking for more of diagnostic centers, diabetic clinics, physiotherapists, consultation with medical doctors, and so on. Whereas if we see the younger people with a lot of purchasing power, they are looking for more of a better fitness centers, dentists, dermatologists, specialized skincare clinics, beauty clinics, and so on. Particularly if you see that double income single kid families and double income no kid families, they have large disposable income and they are willing to spend on services like holidaying, both domestic holidaying, international holidaying, rejuvenating health resorts, home cleaning services, washing and laundry services, home tuition for children, launching of weekend parties, and so on. So there is endless list actually. So depending upon somebody is willing to offer a service, there are a lot of takers for such unique services today. So let us broadly see the canvas, service retailing canvas, how it looks like, starting from your airlines, automobile repair, and your automobile rental, banks, childcare centers, education, coaching, entertainment parks, courier and Xerox services, financial services, fitness centers, healthcare services, hotels and resorts, tax consultants, insurance agents, mobile recharging and mobile repair, electronic goods servicing, real estate and rental, architects, lawyers, packers and movers, pesticide services, borewell services, painters, plumbers, electricians, marriage services, religious services, hairdressing, bridal services. So the list is actually endless. So it's only just a tip of iceberg. It's actually a vast area and there is nothing like there is no standard list and all that. So depending upon the way you are able to identify some of the pain points of the customers, the way you'll be able to add value, you can do it. One of the major advantages we see in this sector is that majority of the services are not branded. They're all provided by individuals. The individual may have a limited visibility in a particular geographical territory. He may not even have maybe a regional presence or national presence or international presence. Except a few companies like maybe an airlines, maybe some other automobile rental, banks, etc. Majority of them are all only individuals. So any individual who is focused in his approach in terms of identifying the service retail requirement can really do wonders in this area. So let us quickly see what are the major differences between the service retailing and the merchandise retailing. First of all is the intangibility. All of you know very well services are all intangible as compared to the products. Because the customers cannot touch and feel the products, it is difficult for them to evaluate the services before they avail the services. Because any customer basically would like to evaluate them before they take the decision to avail the services. Unfortunately, such evaluation possibilities are all very limited. In fact, word of mouth publicity or the service rating by those people who avail the services may help to evaluate the services retail capability very good. So, the service provider, it is important for them to satisfy all the consumers who approach them for service and make them your brand ambassadors. That is, you have to make sure you're able to make all these customers 100% satisfied. So, because they get so much satisfied with your service, they themselves will voluntarily will start acting like a brand ambassador for your services. I mean, suppose if the friends ask them or relatives ask them, or even sometimes they'll voluntarily tell people also, I availed a service from so and so, the service is really good. You can also try them in case you require in the future, like that. So, in the service sector, the brand ambassador, many people, it's only voluntary. So the service providers, particularly the retail service providers, should try to take advantage of this opportunity and try to provide the best service to whomever they're approaching them. The second, there is no second chance to satisfy the needs of the consumer. This is a very, very important point. Because the service provider create and deliver the service and the consumer consuming the service immediately. At the same time, other customers also consuming the service at the same time, the same center, and that situation may affect the quality of service delivery. For example, let us take you are going to a restaurant. You are sitting with your family in a particular table, and another family is coming and sitting in the next table. So, depending upon the other family sitting in the next table, the way they have followed the table manners, the ethics they follow, and all that, that may affect your experience. It may be a very happy experience, or it may be a different experience. So, the service provider has to ensure such type of things are all very much under their control. Similarly is the case with somebody is going to a hair cutting salon. Again, you will be able to see the large number of people will be availing this at the same time. So depending upon the people sitting in the hall, it may affect your service directly or indirectly. So service retailers often do not get a second chance to satisfy the needs of the customer. So if the first time itself, you should try to give the best service. The customer should be 100% happy. The customer should become your brand ambassador. The customer should come back to you again to avail the services. Whereas if you see the merchandise, the customer always come back and return the damaged merchandise. And whereas such type of situations are not possible in the service delivery, and many times a dissatisfied customer will not even give you a feedback. That's the biggest risk for a service provider, because he is not giving you feedback. You will be wondering why that customer is not coming back. So you have to keep your eyes and ears open, and it is very important to get it right the first time itself to all the service people who are coming to avail the services. The third one, the services are all perishable in nature. Once a flight takes off, let us say with an empty seat, the revenue is lost forever. You will never be able to get back the revenue. Similarly, a restaurant cannot add capacity to address the weekend demand. Suppose people come and wait there and then they go back because the waiting time is phenomenal. So that revenue we will never be able to get. So the demand for services, unfortunately, it varies over the time. Let us say in a day, starting from morning to evening. Suppose you go to a hair cutting salon, morning there will be a lot of crowd will be coming, evening some crowd may come, maybe in between the traffic will be very, very low. Similarly, if you see that in a week, maybe in the Saturday and Sunday, there will be a phenomenal traffic will be there. Other days traffic will not be there. So it's a big challenge for the service provider how exactly to make the demand uniform. In fact, that's why many organizations are going for differential pricing to make the demand uniform across the day or across the week or whatever it is. And many retailers use the reservation system to generate service delivery at a specified time, so that when people come to the, let us say, to a restaurant, they need not have to wait. At the appointed time, they'll be able to avail the services, and that will be a good experience for them. And capacity creation. In fact, today, thanks to technology, many of these service providers, retailers, are able to add capacities effortlessly at different geographies. Earlier, it was quite not possible. But today, you can see, even in the earlier slide you would have seen, that a lot of people are able to provide the capacity creation through technology. For example, you can see that mobile ATMs are all coming up everywhere, and in fact, many banks have opened even a mobile ATM in major locations where offices are all there or gated communities are all there. And State Bank of India have opened many cash points to deposit or withdraw cash because people are not very comfortable with, let us say, ATM, or people do not have this cards, for example, the debit card or credit card. They can always go to the cash points and maybe deposit some cash and all that. LIC also opened up many premium collection points in addition to the online collection, because normally the number of branches of LIC will be quite limited. So these collection points help the people to travel only limited distance to make the premium at the collection points, either by check or through cash or even to the card also. And in fact, Apollo hospitals have spin off their dental clinics, daycare surgery centers, OP consultation suites in many locations as part of moving closer to the consumer as part of capacity creation. So earlier, the capacity creation was a big challenge for all the service retailers, but today, slowly, thanks to various initiatives, thanks to technology and various other things, they are able to add capacities effortlessly. And another interesting point in the services is that no two services will be identical. It's a very, very important one. Because services are all offered by the people, no two services will be identical. Because different lawyers will give different legal opinion for the same issue based on their knowledge and experience. Same case the doctors also. Suppose you go with some complication and you take different opinion from different doctors, again it will be quite difficult to come to the conclusion. So which opinion to really take? So let us say the waiter in the hotel may be in a bad mood and may make your dining experience a disaster. It's quite likely because that particular day the waiter would be having some personal problem or with his own colleagues. Some issue may be there. So he may be presenting a very disastrous experience to the customer. Bank employees in the same branch provide different service quality to customers. I think many of you would have faced the same experience. If you go to a particular branch, some of the customers will go out of the way and give you a service. So it's very important for the service provider to ensure a consistent high quality service. That's a very, very important one because people are all involved. So it has to be consistent, it has to be high quality service. And service retailers spend considerable amount of time and effort in selecting the people, training the people, managing the people, and motivating the people to provide the consistent high quality service. But an interesting point is that still there are a lot of challenges in standardization, because it also depends upon the customer profile, what type of customer the service provider is going to face and what exactly is the service requirement. That may still provide some challenges to standardizing the services. Let us quickly go through the existing traditional system where the service retailer is providing the service to the customer very close to his location. So obviously the consumer has to travel to the service location to avail the benefit, and there will be waiting time to avail the services depending upon whether it's a scheduled or unscheduled one. So the waiting time is one of the major issue in majority of the places where the services are provided. You can see the picture here, the number of people waiting in a typical bank on maybe on even let us say week beginning. Similarly, the waiting hall in a hospital. In fact, Aravind Eye Hospital are really focusing this issue, are working on a very interesting model, technology driven model, where they're planning to put RFID tags in hands of all these patients. The moment the patient enters, so the clock will start moving. And up to about 1 hour time, the patient name will be shown in a particular color, maybe a green color or something like that. The moment it crosses 1 hour waiting time, immediately the color changes to amber color. So that means the senior people in the organization will be tracking that people are all waiting more than what is the stipulated time of, let us say, 1 hour. And the moment it crosses 1 hour and 30 minutes, the color changes to red and it will start giving alarm also. So immediately the hospital authorities will open additional queues to see that the customers are not unduly waiting in the waiting hall. So this is a very interesting thing Aravind Eye Hospital is working on. Like that, many hospitals and many organizations, service providers are working on to minimize the waiting time of the consumers. This is one of the very important area. And again, the quality of service depends on the person who delivers the service. As I mentioned earlier, his state of mind and his skill set, and also the type of response he's going to get from the consumer, like whether it's a polite consumer, demanding consumer, or aggressive consumer. And so many organizations, service retail organizations, are working on several initiatives to improve the situation. In fact, one of the main things many people are trying to do is move the service location closer to the consumer. You will be seeing a typical car washing, mobile car washing unit is come up, and mobile post offices are all available. You can see in this picture the mobile physiotherapy unit, which will come closer, come maybe just to your home, and also mobile ATMs. So all these things are all helping to move the service location closer to the customer. Then here, the consumer obviously need not have to travel because the service is delivered at the doorstep, and the service provider has to travel to the doorstep or very close to the consumer. And diagnostic service providers are really finding it very attractive way of serving the customer, because many of those old people are not in a position to come to the diagnostic service centers. Similarly, some of the this one dialysis units, X-ray units, all these things are able to make available to your doorstep. Today, a lot of these washing machine mechanics, AC mechanics, fridge mechanics, they're able to come to your doorstep and able to provide the service without the need to move that washing machine or all these things to the service facility. And a lot of these financial service providers, insurance agents, they're all able to provide your home service. And Sankar Netralaya, for the first time in India, they have actually got permission from Government of India to operate a mobile operation theatre to conduct cataract surgeries in remote villages. Actually, many people are following this queue, and this is going to be a big boom to a lot of people in very remote and inaccessible locations whose sight can be retrieved, or they will not go to the needless blindness. They'll be able to get the timely attention from all these surgeons and hospitals and all that. In fact, in West Bengal, the iCal retailers are reaching these customers in remote islands through boats. You can even see a boat ambulance here. They are through the boats, they're able to locate the patients. They're able to come to the central location, where again the boat will be treated as an hospital, and they'll be able to conduct some surgeries or any other treatment, whatever is required and all that. And many car service companies today are providing pick up and drop for servicing or repair of the cars. So the customer need not have to go to the place to drop the car and come back. And this is actually many of them finding it extremely useful. And many of those organizations are going for leveraging the technology extensively. In fact, you would have seen this banking. Banking is one of the area where it is being beautifully done. Here, both the service retailer and the consumer need not travel, because both can sit in the same place. Through the technology architecture, both will be in the same platform, and the service is delivered on 24/7 basis through the technology architecture. It's a very, very important one. And the consumer can avail the services at their convenient time. So they need not have to bother about time. Anytime which suits them, they can always use the services. And it is system driven, and so no people related issues will affect the quality of service. Whatever the issues we are talking about, the people related issues, all will not be there, because the system is taking over. In fact, you would have seen a picture here where the robot is giving us service in a restaurant. So human beings are really not there. Net banking, mobile banking, online premium payment, is all the classical case where the technology driven service delivery is provided 24/7 and the customer's convenience. And telemedicine is another very important area. In fact, Apollo hospitals have tied up with a lot of smaller hospitals in many of these tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and people can go and take this primary health care there, and depending upon the requirement alone, these patients have to come to the tertiary centers located mainly in the major cities and metros. Similarly, if you see the Arvind Hospital and other hospitals, they opened up vision centers in some of the remote locations. People can go to the vision centers and immediately they get hooked up to the specialist sitting at the major towns. So what are the immediate remedy to be done, it will be provided, and only if there's a surgical requirement, they may come to the tertiary center. So telemedicine is playing a beautiful role, excellent role, and making it very, very convenient and suitable for all the people who are in the remote location and who have got a very limited transportation options also. So technology is really helping the people. And Bandhan Bank, very interestingly, they have actually gone for motorcycle mounted ATMs to offer the latest technology to the people. In fact, this is one of the major reasons why the Bandhan Bank has become highly successful. Today, many organizations are all trying to follow this motorcycle mounted ATM. And many of you will be knowing about the robos in restaurants. Today, in many cities, I think robos have come, and of course, today it's more of fun. People are watching these robos are serving and all that. And if you go to Japan, they opened a complete hotel itself based on robos. So to that extent, the robots to a large extent they're going to replace human being wherever the scope for service quality is an issue. So robots will be able to provide a very consistent service. You will be able to exactly standardize the whole process. So technology is going to play a big role in making the service delivery very efficient, customer friendly, and all that. So hope I think this presentation is quite useful to all of you. You would have seen the service delivery in a different perspective. So you can see the opportunity to use the technology and leverage it effectively, and you can make a lot of ambassadors, brand ambassadors for you, and you can create a lot of entry barrier for your competitors. So as compared to your merchandise retailing, service retailing is an excellent opportunity. So one can really consider it quite seriously. So thank you for your patient listening. Thank you once again for being with me to the presentation.